we're going to start a new section on subtracting whole numbers and fractions. This is going to be pretty similar to our last section where we talked about what to do if you have a hard time subtracting because that first fraction is smaller than the second one. And this is going to kind of relate to the same thing. I'm going to show you two different ways to do this, and they relate pretty well together, but you can choose which one works best for you. The visual way that I like to do this, let's say we have 8 minus 2 and 4/5. The visual way I like to do this is I like to draw 8 circles or 8 rectangles. 8 holes is basically what I'm drawing here. So I can do 1, and I don't know, rectangles might work easier for some of this here. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and you don't have to be real picky about how you draw them because that's not going to make a difference for this particular set that we do here. But here's how I think about this. We have our 8 holes that we're starting with. We're taking away 2, and then we're taking away 4/5. So what I like to do is I like to take away 2 holes first. So I'll just pick 2 of these here, put an X through them. That's taking away 2. Now we have to take away 4/5. So basically what I need to do is I need to pick one of these boxes, cut it into 5 pieces, and take away 4 of them. So basically I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I need to take away 4/5 so I don't use them anymore. So that would be taking away that one, and I'm just putting X's in these for 1, 2, 3, 4. I just took away 4/5. I just put an X in each one of those boxes. Now all you have to do is count up what you have left or what you have remaining. So we can start with how many holes do we have left? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 complete holes. Okay. Now if I have any fraction pieces left, what do I have left? And this is the one where I have fraction pieces, and I have 1 piece left that I didn't cross out of 5. So my answer to this question would be 1 or 5 and 1/5. That's one way to do this. Another way to do this relates back to the last video what we did, where when we subtracted, we found common denominators, and then we changed to improper fractions. And here's how this is going to work. 8 minus 2 and 4/5. 8 is not a fraction, but it could be. Anytime you have a whole number, you can simply put a 1 underneath it if you need to make it a fraction. Okay? The reason we can do that is now as a mixed number, if you think about it, if we try to change, or an improper fraction, if we try to change this back to a mixed number, 1 goes into 8, of course, 8 times with none left over. So this would be the same as 8 and 0 first, which is just the same thing as 8. So if you ever have a whole number and you need to make it a fraction, just put a 1 underneath it. Now over here I'm going to need to change this to an improper fraction. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So now my problem looks like this. 8 over 1 minus 14/5. Okay. We're subtracting, so I still need a common denominator here. So an easy common denominator here would be 5, because this one's already 5. But to make this one 5, that would be times by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. And then I have to times the top by the same thing, which should be 40. Okay. Now this problem is pretty simple. 40 minus 14. 40 minus 14 would be 40. Take away 10 is 30. Take away 4 more is 26. 26/5. Now I would want to change this back to a mixed number so I could display how many holes I have. 5 goes into 26 5 times. How many is left over? That would be 25, so there would be 1 left over. 5 and 1/5. Either way you do this is fine, but you choose what works best for you. Alright, 6 minus 2 and 1/3. I'm going to show you both of the ways to do this, and again, whichever way works best for you is fine. I think the picture is just nice, and I bet some of you guys probably don't even have to draw the picture after a while. You can kind of visually see this in your head. So if I draw my 6 holes to start with. Okay. Now I need to take away 2 wholes. Now I need to take away 1/3. So that would mean I need to split this into 3 pieces and take away one of them. Now I just need to figure out, well, what do I have left? I've got 3 wholes left. And as a fraction, what part of this fraction do I have left? Well, I took this one out, so I have 2 pieces out of 3. So my answer is going to be 3 2/3. Down here, 6 as a fraction is 6/1. And let's see here. 2 and, let's see, we could do it this way. 2 times 3, that's 6 plus 1 is 7. 7/6. 7/3, excuse me. Okay. Now we can change 2 common denominators and subtract this pretty easily. Looks like we could use 3 because that's 1 for sure, so I can go like this times 3, and we could go times 3 would be 18. Now if I subtract, this is going to be pretty simple. 18 minus 7 is going to be 11/3. Keep the bottom number. Now change this back to a mixed number. 3 goes into 11 3 times. How many is left over? Well, 3 times 3 is 9, so there would be 10, 11, 2 left over. 2/3. Either way works fine, and actually, if you struggle a little bit with this to start with, it may not hurt to do it both ways, because if you got the same answer for both of them, then you probably did it right. Alright, don't ask me why I did 18, so I had to draw the 18 circles, but at least I drew them ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me draw them. For this problem, we need to take away 5 to start with, and I've got 18. And I just did circles this time because they're easier to draw than rectangles, and 8 cuts nicely into circles. So 18 minus 5, so that would be take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I need to take away the 5/8. So I'm going to take this circle. I'm going to take the biggest one actually, because then I can see it a lot better. Okay. There's my 8 pieces. I need to take away 5 of them. X, 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 and X. I just took away 5 of those circles. Now, or 5 of those pieces. Now I need to figure out what do I have left over. And all we have to do is count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 wholes. And then what fractional piece do I have left? Well, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3 of those pieces out of the 8 that I cut it into. So my answer is going to be 12 3/8. Down here, 18 would of course just be 18/1, as we talked about, because 1 goes into 18 times. And then if I subtract this as an improper fraction, 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 5 is 45/8. Now I need a common denominator, which is really easy for these, because if I have 1 and 8, well, what goes into 1 and 8? 8 does. So that one's going to stay exactly how it is. This one needs to be times 8 to get to 8, and that one needs to be times 8. So let's see, 18 times 8. 8 times 10 is 80, and 8 times 8 is 64. So what would that have to be? 144? I'm going with 144. I should check that on the calculator first just to make sure. 18 times 8. Yep. Okay. Now we just need to subtract. 144 minus 45 would be 99. 99/8. Now I just need to turn this back into a mixed number. There's a lot of ways to do this. You could just use a standard division problem if that's what you're comfortable with. That would be 1. 1, bring down my 9. That would be 2. 12. Take away equals 7. So I have a remainder of 7. oh, excuse me, 8 times 2 is 16. I was like, whew, I was looking up there, that's not a 7. 19 minus 16 is 3, so I have a remainder of 3. Now if you look at what we have 12 holes with 3 left over. And I would just write that 12 and 3 eighths. Got the same answer no matter which way we did it. Alright, I've listed these problems twice on here because these are the ones I want you to practice. I've got them on here twice because the first way I'm going to show you how to draw the circles of the rectangles and take them away. The second one I'm going to show you the actual problem for it. If you can do it both ways, I would try to do it both ways. You might as well to make sure that you get a matching answer. If you can only do it one way, I mean that's not such a big deal either as long as you have one way to do it. Why don't you try these, come back to the video, and then see how you did. Alright, let's start with this first one here. If I have 4 holes, again, circles, rectangles, it really doesn't matter. The only problem with circles is if you get a weird number down here like a 7 or I don't know, it doesn't cut very equally with these circles, but 4 I know will cut pretty equally with the circles. So I need to have my 4 holes right here, and I need to take away 1. Take away 1 complete hole. Okay, now we're down to 3. Now I need to take away 3/4. So if I cut that into fourths, I take away 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I need to count up what I have left. 1, 2 holes. And my fractional piece that I have left is 1 out of 4. 2 1/4. Over here, I could do 4 over 1 minus 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7. 7/4. Let's change those so they have common denominators here. This one would be, we want to make it 4 because I know, and you could do other things. I mean, you could do 8, you could do 16, you could do 12. It really doesn't matter, but the smaller the better here, and I know that 1 and 4 both go into 4. So this one's going to stay the same because we're going to use 4. And this one would be times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Times the top by the same thing, so we get 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. 9/4. And if I change this back to a mixed number, 4 goes into 9 twice, which would be 4 times 2 is 8. So that would leave us with 1 left over. Keep the bottom number. 2 1/4. 2 1/4. For our bottom one, 7. So I can do circles again here because we're doing halves, which is going to be pretty easy. Okay, 7 holes. I need to take away 3. We'll just take away these 3 up at the top, leaving me with 4. But now I have to take off a half. So I'm going to have to cut this one into 2, take off 1 of them. Now I just need to count what I have left. 1, 2, 3. And my fraction piece I have left over is 1/2, 3 1/2. Answer. Last one. 7 over 1. Take away 6, 7 over 2. Common denominators. This is going to stay at 2 because we'll do times 2 over here, and then we'll do times 2 to get 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Keep the bottom number. Last step is to change this to a mixed number. 2 goes into 7 3 times, which would get us up to 6, and then that would mean there would be 1 left over. 3 1/2. Hopefully this is making sense to you. If it's not, you want to make sure that you find me and talk to me about it. But we'll try some other problems after this to see how you do.